So next up is Garrison. This man's a phenomenal speaker and a wonderful human being, and he's going to articulate some powerful wisdom for you. So give it up for Garrison, y'all.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Garrison Cohen, and my talk is about the process of self-realization through speaking your mission and your purpose in the world. You guys have received a lot of information so far, for those of you who've just been hanging out, so I'd like to just reset the space real quick. Would you all take a breath with me? We're just all going to breathe in, hold for a beat, and then we're all going to exhale. So let's all do this together. Here we go. Breathing in, hold, and exhale. Beautiful. So good to see you all here. So my work in the world is that I write TED Talks for visionaries, thought leaders, and business leaders, people who are here to contribute to the shift of consciousness on the planet. And I want to share with you one of the core concepts about truly bringing your work to the world and coming into deeper self-realization in the process. So first, a little bit of brain science. A lot of people think that a speech is you speak your perspective and other people consider your perspective. But what a speech really is a conversation between nervous systems. When we speak from the truth of our nervous system, it lands in other people's nervous systems. And unless we're doing that, the brain has some neurological safety mechanisms that prevent other people from receiving information. So a lot of us think that we have one brain, when in truth, we actually have three brains. The oldest brain is called the reptilian brain, and it's about the size of a golf ball. And the reptilian brain is responsible for safety, shelter, survival. And then after millions of years, the limbic brain grew on top of the reptilian brain. And that was the brain that allowed us to have deeper feelings and sensations. And then after a few million years, the neocortex grew on top of that, which is the logical brain. So interestingly, if you think about it like an exclamation point, the neocortex, the thinking brain, is only accessible through the reptilian brain. So if you think of the reptilian brain like the dot on the exclamation point, and the limbic brain is the first third of that little staff, and then the neocortex is the 2/3 above that. You cannot access someone's logical mind without first going through the reptilian brain, which is basically the gatekeeper of the mind. The reptilian brain is the one to say, this person is a friend, or I don't quite trust this person. So the more we're in our head, the more we're just all about facts and statistics, the less we're connected to our true self, our essence, our vulnerability. But when we come from our true vulnerable self and we speak our mission from that place, the reptilian mind says, oh wow, they're vulnerable, they're open, they're not guarded, they're literally putting their vulnerable truth out into the world. That's when the reptilian mind says, okay, you may have access to the neocortex. Until that happens, the reptilian mind will trigger the neocortex, and the neocortex will create protection mechanisms in the form of doubt, judgment, criticism, even just becoming foggy and not being able to take in information, which is a really fascinating part of our evolution. It all comes down to we evolve the more we're vulnerable, because that's when our mission can be received by other people. When I work with thought leaders on their speeches, we go through a process of really dropping into the essence of their story, the essence of their angst, what the problem was that they wanted to solve, that they truly felt in their heart. And when they tell the stories from that place, when they share the vulnerable experiences, that's when the audience can become deeply moved, deeply on the edge of their seat and say, wow, I get that because I get my version of that experience. So I want to end by adding in a really interesting science fact, which is that if you take two grand pianos and you put them side by side, and you tap a key on one piano, the chord on the other piano connected to that same key will vibrate, and only that chord. The reason for that is because vibration always finds its like vibration. And so when we learn to speak from the depth of our vulnerability and our sureness about what we know in our hearts is true, that ultimately connects to the chord in other people that can feel the truth of that. And we also connect to that future version of ourselves that is creating that. In doing so, we create a reflection of that in the world, and it simply comes to be. We're connecting point A and point B in this reality of infinite possibilities. We're actually connecting who we are now with who we want to be most, and the world starts to reflect it back to us. It's a beautiful process. It just fills me with awe. So you can find out more about my work at my website. It's garrisoncohen.com. And if you want to have a conversation, just feel free to send me an email. My address is garrison@watchmemanifest.com. Thank you all so much.